Hey everybody, we are back. Eclectic Soundtrax. Skunk Manhattan, Victor Ramos, episode number 62, and we are here with Teague Bass. The man Teague,
Hey,
just known as Teague
hey,
Bass. I don't know what your last
hey,
name is. You don't need a last name. Just Bass.
down, man. Hey, how you doing, Skunk Manhattan? What's up?
All right, brother. Man, it's good to finally see you face to face, so to speak, even though you are on the other side of the world, literally in Malaysia. You live in Singapore, is that correct?
Yeah, I lived in Singapore for quite some time. Actually, I just shifted to Malaysia, Johor Bahru, which is just across the water from Singapore.
Okay.
Southern Malaysia, which is, used to be, Singapore used to be part of Malaysia, but it's right across the water, like looking across the Mississippi or across the Golden Gate Bridge to the other side,
What prompted the move to the other side of the water?
Well, my wife got a good gig here. She's a head of the teaching program at the Stella International School. So we decided to relocate over here. Plus, I could do my music business and everything from Southern Malaysia anyway. So I can commute like a lot of Singaporeans do. They stay in Southern Malaysia. They commute across the bridge over to Singapore. And cool lifestyle over here. It's a lot less stressful and a lot of space. It's not as congested and it's cool. Malaysia.
Man, it sounds. I want to come over there, dude. Yeah, we've talked a little bit before, just chatting, and I think you were saying, man, it's a cool scene out there, right? It's a lot of cool music stuff happening.
Real cool scene, man. As COVID has, the pandemic has devastated everybody around the world. But before that, Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, Singapore, Kuala Lumpur, which is like about 300 kilometers north, happening music scene, and all the musicians down in Singapore, the commuting back and forth. So it's like Kuala Lumpur, Singapore, whole, Indonesia, Jakarta, the whole thing, man. So Singapore has great live nightlife and devastated by this whole pandemic. Just shut down, crashed, music just stopped.
Yeah.
Like hitting a brick wall.
Oh yeah. What's it looking like over there now? I mean, have things come back around, or is it still pretty cautious?
Right. Well, Malaysia is bouncing back slowly. And matter of fact, the music scene has going to be picking up in December. Live bands will be able to perform live. Like right now, they're doing like a busking kind of thing. Mm-hmm. It's December, live music starts back with musicians on the stage. Singapore is still struggling a bit, but they're trying to get theirs back on par too. So I think end of December, early January, their nightlife music scene will start back up. But they've been shut down since this time last year. So it's, yeah.
Well, was it initially shut down when everything went to hell in March of 2020, and then did it come back and then shut down again, or?
For a little bit. I was actually there because I was commuting back and forth to Singapore. So I would go over for the gigs like 6 nights a week. I'm going over there, crossing over, the causeway. And the announcement was made, just like you just said. It was, I remember, March, was it 17th, 16th, they announced the next night, you have 24 hours, they're going to shut the border. So you're either going to stay in Singapore or tomorrow night by midnight, if you're in or out, you're going to be stuck either way and you won't get out in or out of the country. Wow. And that went for about, even now, I have not set foot on Singapore soil since March 2020.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I've not been back. So tomorrow, matter of fact, they are opening the causeway and allowing for the first time in 20 months, Singaporean PR or Singaporeans and Malaysians to cross over in and out, but they're only allowing 1,500 people per day. Okay. 16 buses per day to go across the border. In and out, 32 total. And then 16 can go in, 16 can come out. 1,500 people per day can go and see their loved ones that they haven't seen, families that have been separated for the past 20 months.
Is vaccination mandatory there?
You can only cross the border if you're fully vaccinated, right? And then you must go online before you get your ticket for the bus or plane. You have to register online first. Then the ticket must be purchased three to 4 days in advance. And then you still got to wait for your number to be called for you to go.
Wow.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Crazy times we're living in. Absolutely. I mean, at least we have the technology to be able to talk to each other like this, and
Right.
in terms of live music, man, and guys like yourself, who I mean, that's what you do, man. It sounds like that's your bread and butter, playing live music, playing gigs. I'm assuming with various bands. Do you play in a lot of different bands, or do you have a specific project that's your main one? Or tell us a little bit about that.
Right. As you said, when I first came over to Singapore, it's about, I think, 20 plus 30 years ago. And as I learned and networked with more and more musicians, I started playing in different bands, and 3 or 4 bands at one time, and doing top 40 gig for the main bread and butter, and then side projects. And then my band, like say Dirty Perfect, we're doing our own original music, and we do shows to do our own, promoting our own songs. But of course, you know, you don't make much money when you're out there trying to push your own music. That's a hard business to you know. So the top 40 gigs, everybody's coming in, and that's the bread and butter gig. So yeah, I've been playing in different bands here, in and out, and meeting a lot of great musicians. There's a lot of great talent over here. Seriously, it's really, and they really follow the Western style. They follow everything that's going on in Europe and the States. They know who all the big, you know, musicians are. These guys over here, man, they're really on it. They're on it.
When where are you from originally?
Michigan Wolverines.
Gotcha. Yeah, real popular bunch, those Wolverines. So, are you? So, what initially took you out there? Why did you make that move?
Well, what brought me out here is when I hooked up. Cut midway through the story. When I was around my 20s, I joined a famous R&B artist named Alexander O'Neal, who was signed to Flight Time. He came out of that whole Prince era, right? This is back in the 80s, and was on tour with Alexander O'Neal. How I got hooked up with that is a whole nother long story, but that's how it happened. And from traveling around the world touring with Alexander O'Neal and another artist named Cherell, who's a well-known R&B artist.
Yeah.
Who was recording on a Flight Time. So we did like Japan and Germany and all these different places. And you network, you meet. Back then there was no, internet and all this stuff. So you had to keep in touch with people, take down contacts, keep in your little Rolodex or whatever, and your little notepad. And so so when my days came to an end after 2 years of touring with Alex, all the networking that I did overseas in Japan and stuff, people were calling me back in the States saying, "Hey man, are you available? Are you available?" And that's how I ended up back in Asia. And I got offers that led me to be here long term. I took advantage of it. It was my opportunity. And I've always wanted to travel and see the world. And music has taken me everywhere that I've gone in life. It's beautiful, man. It's a blessing.
Oh yeah, that's awesome, dude. That's fantastic.
Congrats.
And it's really cool.
Yeah.
And you've been living over there in Singapore until recently for, what'd you say, 25, 30 years now?
Yes.
But you've toured around the world, or do you primarily have toured around in sort of Asian countries?
When I hooked up with the bands and musicians in Singapore, then we were offered, I was still playing with also U.S. musicians from the States and Canada and the U.K., and everybody's collaborating and got together. And, we got on the hotel circuit. Like Marriott has a hotel chain over here going through Taipei, Taiwan, China, Japan, all the countries. And you have the Marriotts, you have the Sheraton's hotels, you have the Hyatts, and they all have these clubs, which live entertainment, kind of like the tour for the top 40 bands. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not up there like Axl Rose and all these big timers, Van Halen and everybody, but it's kind of like the level down below, but good. You make a living at it. You get a steady check every month, good pay. You got hotel rooms, 3 meals a day. You get to use all the facilities. So you're living like a rock star, actually, So we would get this gigs we go into, and the thing about it, you don't just go into town. What's cool about it, you don't just land in one city and you hit that city 1, 2, 3 days. You don't really get to see everything, and then you're off on a jet to another city. Like tours. Right. We are at one place for 3 months or to 6 months. You could be in Jakarta for 3 months. Then from Jakarta, they send you to Bali for 3 months. From Bali, they send you off to Kuala Lumpur, another 3 months. Then we're in Taipei. Then we're in Shanghai for 3 months. So, 4 months out of the just 4 months, four gigs, 4 venues. That's already a year to
Right.
4 countries. And then you got all these other places. So by the time you make a whole round, it might take 2-3 years before you even get back to a place where you started. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And it's really cool. You're in Morocco, you're in Dubai, United Emirates, you know.
And you actually have time to do things and go check out the
Yes.
space. Yeah.
You get to meet the people, get involved, the culture. You get to see how they live. You get to eat how they live. You travel. You do what they do, and you really get to appreciate all these different countries you go to and the cultures that you're learning and experiencing. It's a really cool thing, man.
Hell yeah, that sounds amazing. What are some of your absolute favorite places that you've been? Some standouts over the years. I know that's probably hard.
It's hard, but I could say Japan is the people there, the hospitality. They really treat you like a king. It doesn't matter what color you are. They're just brought up that way. You know, everything you do, it's just like, you know, they call my name David, but everybody knows they're Teague. But when I tell them David, hey, David's son, we were worried about you, David's son. You know, and it's just like, oh, just down the street. You know, go get. But they're just that polite. You know, you can drop your wallet in Japan, lose it, and someone, it'll be, you know, you'll get it back. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's amazing. They're just like that. I left a mobile phone in a taxi twice, and it came back. You know what I mean? Just went to the nearest police station, and they look on the files on record where this phone came in.
I don't feel like sounds like the weather in, like, when people talk about San Diego or Hawaii or something, you don't hear bad things about it. And I feel like Japan, like, seems like when people go to Japan, they're like, oh man. And I regret not going there years ago when a musician buddy of mine was working over there. He was like, man, you got to come out here. The people, they love music. They love American music. And he was playing at blues bars and this and that, and with Japanese guys. And we have another friend, was one of our earlier guests on the podcast, one of our first guests.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's been around the world, and I think he said Japan was definitely one of his absolute favorite places. Hey, he's actually been to several Asian countries, one being Vietnam. How far are you from Vietnam? It sounded like he dug the music scene there as well.
Right. I have not gone to Vietnam, but a lot of my friends have, and it's about an hour flight from here. It's a hot spot for music. Matter of fact, they've been coming up over the last 20 years. Vietnam has just blossomed. And then this Big had a little something to say. You going to say something, Big?
Oh, no. I was just thinking back to that guest that we had. But, you know, what he was talking about, Japan and Vietnam. So. Yeah.
And that's one of the hot spots there, Vietnam. And getting back to it, I didn't finish answering about, you said favorite places. Yeah. I started with Japan. Taiwan is an excellent place, to be honest with you. Sri Lanka, believe it or not, beautiful place, man. The people. And to be honest, to be fair, I really can't say there wasn't anywhere that I really didn't like it. And to pick a favorite, it's very hard because Indonesia is beautiful, you know, Bali. And so it's very hard to say. And I think where I am right now, centralized in Malaysia, I'm everywhere I can hop is like 2 or 3 hours. Of course, Japan is 7 hours north, but everything is really in this location as far as, you know, and that was another reason why I wanted to stay over here when I had the opportunity, because I didn't have to fly all the way from the States, because all the gigs were, you know, I was getting all the offers to be back over here.
Yeah.
And the people treat you so well, why not just stay here, you know? And
what do you got back there, man? I see hard key gear, and then I see, are those Music Man? What kind of basses are those? Music Mans?
I love Music Man. I have 3 of these. This is my hard key DX600. It's too much for this little room I have, but I got it anyway. You know, I wanted to have split cabinets, but they didn't have them in stock at the time. So it's got 4 10s in it. Mm-hmm. Really great sound, man. I recommend it. It's, you know, it's for whatever the musician prefers. You know, people gonna say Ampeg. I love Ampeg. I love GK. I do. Any of the 3, I'm cool. You know, so many great amps out here. I got my Music Man bassist. I'm a big Music Man fan. So I love these. You know, this have LEDs in them. I don't have the ones, the batteries are in the back here. See, 3 batteries.
Oh, wow.
And I have the LEDs in the front, but I didn't have a battery inside. But you can see the ones on the side of the neck here.
Oh, wow. Cool, dude.
Right.
That's cool.
And I mean, that's kind of That's like really, it looks cool, I imagine, in a dark club, but that's super practical also.
Right. And when the lights go out, if you're doing a solo or something, and it's really cool. And they shine like a spaceship. The front LEDs, I don't have the batteries in, but they're really, really bright. I can show you later. This same one with this. I have a Fender Precision around here somewhere because the other basses are in Singapore. But these are my go-to basses. That blue one and this one here. And it had LEDs in the, you see there, they're not as bright, but
yeah,
they come on too. And then it has a laser at the top.
Wow.
You see that? See there?
Yeah.
So you can, I point at the wall here behind me. You see the laser there behind me moving on the wall. Yeah. So usually if you want to just point out somebody as part of the show, and it's maybe something that has to do with, I don't know, military or something about guns or something, you can mess around and, hey, put that drink down. Put it down right now. Bring that drink to the stage because I want it, something like that. Joke around with people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
are those customized that way? You can buy those basses like that.
No, I had to take this. These had to be sent to the famous guy, Sims. I gotta give a shout out to him. He's in the UK. It's the same guy, Martin Sims. He's the same guy that Steve Vai, guitars, and Billy Sheehan, and the bassist from what's that? One of my favorite bands. I can't say the name. One of my favorite bands, Limp Bizkit, Sam Rivers.
Oh, okay.
So but the main guy that I saw the first time with LEDs back in the day is Bootsy Collins. He's the first man that I saw with LEDs.
That makes sense.
So, it was. And when I was a kid, I said, man, when I was a kid, I said, man, I want to have LEDs in my bass someday, man. I want some LEDs in my bass. I want lights in my bass like Bootsy,
Of course, that makes sense. I when you were talking about the LEDs, the first guy I thought of was Steve Vai, because I know Steve Vai, it's a part of his show and the whole big, and I guess Billy Sheenan's probably played with him, and he's had so many great musicians with him over the years.
Yeah. So the blue one is actually a copy of what Billy Sheehan actually, with the LEDs in the neck up here in the top of the headstock.
Okay.
So I actually not going to take all the credit for that. Billy, I stole that from you. I got to let him know, man. Give credit to where credit's due.
When did you start playing, and was bass your first instrument?
Bass. When I was about 5 years old, I'm sure you have heard all these musician stories over and over again. The parents, my mother is in the church playing the piano. I'm a little kid and I got to go to church every Sunday, pull you by the ear. Sunday was always church day. And she played in in the choir, she played piano. So what she did is she tried to be slick. She sent me to piano lessons when I was about 5. Right. But I didn't know what she was up to. She was actually trying to groom me to so she was going to bring me into the church. So she was sending me to piano lessons, and I didn't want to do it, but I had to go. And I had sheet music in front of me, and the teacher was teaching me. And what I did is I was learning all the notes by ear. I memorize everything. And then after a few months of that, the teacher kind of figured something was up. So what she did, she tricked me, and she put a song in front of me, but she changed the title and put the notes, right? And then she said, play that song. So when I saw the title, I had to memorize the notes, and I started playing, and I was looking at the paper. And then she said, you're not playing the song. So she told my mother, you're wasting your money. This guy's just picking up the songs by ear, and he's just memorizing. He's not learning anything. You're wasting your money. So my mom stopped, and I went to trumpet around 7 or 8 in school. They had these, they were giving out trumpets for kids to play, putting them to get them involved in these music programs. And that's not really what I wanted. So I jumped on the drums because she bought my little brother a drum kit, because I'm the oldest, and she bought my little brother a drum kit, and he didn't really play them much. So I jumped on for fun. And she said it was too noisy. And I started to become good playing the drums, but she said it's too noisy. And so eventually I ended up, she bought him a little acoustic guitar, which one of my Teague talks, I talk about my little brother's acoustic guitar. I pulled off 2 strings and started playing acoustic guitar like a bass, right? And I was about 12 at this time, and I got so good at it, I was picking up all the songs on the radio, learning Earth, Wind, and Fire, and, Grand Funk Railroad, whoever. And then my mother eventually, she heard me and she said, my stepfather told her, that guy can play that guitar. I would take the microphone, mic, and put it inside the little hole and amplify it into a speaker. So that was my little rig. I thought I had been in something. I thought I had been at the first, electric, little kids, man.
Yeah.
So I got so good at it. She actually made a deal with me. She said, you know what? I told her I wanted a bass. She said, if you play the bass in the church, I will buy you a bass guitar. And that's how it started. And I got my first acoustic amp and my first copy of a jazz bass copy, because she couldn't afford, brand new Fenders and stuff like that. And that's how it started, man. Really.
Cool.
So,
yeah, like you said, man, there's a church background, which is cool. I think even if you don't appreciate it when you're a kid, when you get older, you go like, wow, man, because you get that automatic, like, especially like just from like a gospel side of things, like it's such a cool influence to have, man. And I think it's just good for the ears. I never really had that, but like, I think you get automatic kind of ear training. Obviously with you, it came real natural, and you're kind of an ear player. I'm assuming now after the fact, when, segueing into becoming a professional musician, you played in lots of bands. Did you do sessions? Did you learn to read music, or how did all that work?
Well, that's a fault of mine. Many of my friends pushed me to do that, and I was too lazy. When she got me the bass, and I was a little kid, I played in a gospel quartet, and I traveled around with them around Michigan every Sunday, play these gospel gigs, and all these, different other gospel bands would be there. They call them revivals. I think you've heard that, right? And the other bands would be there, and the church would be loaded. They would have regular church Sunday, church in the daytime. Then at the evening, that's when everyone would travel to these other churches, and they all congregate, and all these bands. So when we had our turn to play, I played with these three or four elder guys. They were in like 40s and 50s, and here we are, this little teenager, and me and the drummer's a young guy, and we're backing these dudes up. But we're grooving, man. We know how to play the gospel stuff, and we're grooving. Mm-hmm. And that's where I got the feel from, and just playing by the ear. So I was too lazy to learn to read. I went to take reading lessons to learn to read, and I'm very, very, I can't stay focused on stuff, I get bored. What do you call it? ADD or ADHD or whatever it is.
I know all about that, man. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So learning by ear, it was so fascinating. I pick up things so easy just listening to them. I pick up Earth, Wind & Fire. I pick up Van Halen. I pick up, AC/DC, and I could pick up the songs just by standing in the room and just shedding. I couldn't play everything perfectly, but so close, it sounds like I'm playing it close enough that it sounds like. So yeah, I did sessions because I played. People would give me music. They would put it on a tape.
Sure. Right.
Send me the tape. They have the music on tape. Send it to me. Back then we had cassette tapes. So now you guys know I'm real old. I'm a dinosaur.
Oh man, something to be said too. I think you really got to listen, because you're like, damn it, I don't want to have to rewind this thing at 400. Now you're like, real fast.
Yeah.
Back then, all right. Let me focus. I think, dude. And here's the big thing about I've been teaching music for years now, but you can attest to this. It's like there's all these different facets. Like there's reading, there's theory, there's your ears, there's technique, there's all these things. And I think one of the biggest flaws with musicians, beginners, amateur musicians is and that professionals probably know, is that listening. Like sometimes you don't want to have an instrument, just listen. Don't dive in before you're absorb it. Really critically listen to something, really try to figure out what you're hearing, and then go for it. And me personally, that's the first thing. I think this would be the case for many, many people figuring out music. The first thing I'm ever going to listen for is the bass. I'm going to try to figure out what the bass is doing, figure out what the root notes are, and then kind of construct everything upwards from there. Right. So,
right.
But yeah, I think just listening is such a huge part. And I think some people sometimes are so, and now it's almost, it's unfortunate we got all this internet tab and stuff, which many times is horribly incorrect, And
yes.
Taking these things at face value, and it's like, no, use your ear, man. Does that sound right? Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up, because you know what? I sometimes now, like you said, with the internet, I want to see if I'm doing it, because I go and see bands play it. I hate a bass player, but that doesn't sound right. And I even go and check out YouTube, like you just said. I'll watch other bass players play a certain song, and I'll look at the fingers, listen to what they're doing, and I'm going, that one guy is playing it right, but the other guy's playing it. He's playing the riffs are wrong, and I'm going, God, he posted that in front of people, And like you said, I listen to songs over and over again until they just sink into me. And so I can actually pick up my bass and actually start playing the songs without even having to have the song playing, because I've got it embedded now.
Right,
That's how I like to learn music.
Right.
And so the people like yourself who I've spoken to, I have lots of friends from Berkeley and different schools around the world. They can read crazy, man. And I talk to some of the jazz players I speak to, and I ask them about myself. I say, hey, man, is it like I really messed myself up in like by not, because I've had to turn down some very good gigs that you had to read, or I couldn't do them. And I turned them over to my good friends that I couldn't do them. Teaching some certain teaching offers that I've had. I've taught some kids. They wanted to learn how I slap or how I do this or how I perform, on the stage. I can teach them that. But when it came to the actual reading and things, I said, I cannot teach you. I don't have the skills for that, which is a bit of a disappointment in myself. I feel like, God, if I'd only taken the time,
Like I said, there's so many facets to it, and it's all a learned skill. It's a learned skill to perform. It's a learned skill to teach. It's a learned skill to read. And I think I think some of us are inept, are just a little more, like guys like you and me, I imagine like you're the same. Like I always like, when it just sat down, I was fascinated plunking around and improvising and used my ear before I ever really started taking lessons. And then I got really into it and I got interested in the theory and I took piano lessons. And so I got a balance, but you get those guys that are phenomenal readers and you tell them to improvise and they look like a deer in headlights, man. They're terrified. Right. They don't know. They don't know how to feel, and just let go and or music theory and so I think in a perfect world, all those things blend together, right? And it's a language and they all come together to create that. But everyone's different, man. For the first time, I think ever recently, I had a student that actually had perfect pitch. It just blew my mind, dude. It was insane because it's like I'm thinking about the way I teach and the things I talk about. It's like we have to talk about here's a triad and then you learn to kind of hear it and think. Whereas she just bypasses all that and goes, "Oh, it's these notes," and you're like,
right,
crazy. So everyone's different,
You mentioned perfect pitch. One guy that fascinated the heck out of me. The drummer from Prince, the big guy named Michael Bland, when he was back in the days of Diamonds and Pearl, friends back in Minneapolis. That's where I got, into the Minneapolis scene with all that. This guy has, like you said, perfect pitch. I could play any note, Michael Bland, any note on the bass. He can tell you what note you're playing.
Yeah.
I can't do that. I can tune it. I got a tuner, man. I can tune it. I don't have perfect pitch. I can put the bass into it, but I can't put it perfectly tuned. He could tune. I could turn my tuning pegs, and he could tell me to the perfect pitch and tune my bass.
To the scent. Yeah, it's insane. I think those guys have you can develop relative pitch, and you can really refine relative pitch, right? But most of us, might get lucky every now and then, but it's like. Once you have like a bassist and a tonic, and then you can relate things to that, you can get good at hearing that. But those guys that just hear any sound in the universe, and they're like, "That's an A flat." I mean, it's just like,
seriously, and it's right, exactly. It's incredible.
Yeah. Wow. Well, of course he was playing with Prince,
and he's a damn good drummer. As you know, the dude is like Dennis Chambers or something. He's a good drummer. We did jam sessions and stuff, so. That scene back in those days was a really cool scene, man. It's like the Motown of the Midwest back in those days. It was happening.
It's funny because I was joking with a friend of mine the other day. I don't know if you saw the latest Kid Rock video, man.
I like Kid Rock though.
It's something else, dude. It's something else. He's like, I want to take Ted Nugent and put it on steroids, and it is fucking hilarious. Anyway,
okay.
But we were talking about Detroit, and we were kind of joking about like what came out of Detroit. You got, I guess Ted Nugent, and Kid Rock, but I was saying Eminem. But I'm like, dude, fucking Motown. I mean, like you can't understate that. And it's funny talking to you and talk about that, and then talking about Prince in Minneapolis, which is Well,
Yeah.
not too far down the road. Maybe it is a ways down the road. I don't know.
Well, it's on the other side. Yeah, well, it's about from Detroit to Minneapolis is about, I think, a good 12-hour drive.
Yeah, well, that's way fucking far. Like, I should know better, but whatever. So anyway, I don't know. They both start with M's, whatever.
Minneapolis and Michigan, Motown.
But coming back to Michigan, something else.
Right.
Michigan, this one makes me want to segue into Yay Plus because I know Justin's been playing in Michigan, and I think he did Booker and Bridges in Michigan, if I'm not correct. How did you meet? How did you get involved with Yay Plus? Tell us about Yay Plus. Let's talk about that.
Okay, well, I go back to 2008 or 9 when I met John Kayan. He was in Singapore. We were performing at a club called Insomnia, which stays open. It fits the name. It stays open till like 6 in the morning. And the band, the last set would be maybe around, it would end around 4:30. So, yeah, so some nights we got stage playing. And so we met John. He was coming through there. He was doing training. He's in that military thing. He's training Gokras from Nepal and stuff. And we met then, and he said to myself and the guitarist, Alif Putra was also Yay Plus. He said to it because he loved music so much and he liked what we were doing. We would hang out with him between the sets and things, and we really talked and became friends over the times. And he said, man, one day, God, I want to start something up and I'm coming back to get you guys, right? And so 12 years later, I get this call. John and I kept in touch over the years, but this one day he really called up and said, what are you doing? And this is during COVID times, right? And I am chilling I'm in Malaysia and I'm collaborating with musicians around. This is when I had to learn how to do all this stuff with, getting on in the garage, getting on and laying tracks and sending stems over across the garage. Yeah. One thing now, just not getting off track. One thing about the pandemic, it taught people you had to learn how to start doing stuff.
For real.
Right? You
had to become a self-sufficient engineer not an engineer, but you had to learn how to record yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
My old ass had to get on YouTube and start watching cats. And this is how you do this, and this is how you do that, and this is how you do that, trial and error, and kicking stuff. And I'm up with my Jack Daniels and late hours learning shit, right? So anyway, John Kayan called up and he goes, what are you doing? He goes, I got this thing. And it really started with another place called, I won't mention them. But anyway, he started out Yay Plus and got this team together. And he said, Teague, I need you to do this. And, and he had a team and this person did that. And that's where he put this team together. And Yay Plus started. He says, I want to have a company that reaches out and is taking care of the indie artists because the mainstream is, I don't want to make any comments, the mainstream is all manufactured. The control is controlled. Yeah. You go ahead and say it. Yeah, it's the big monster, really. Yeah. And so he wanted to have a place for indie artists. And that's what he did. And all the indie artists started coming to it. And they were like very happy with what Yay Plus is doing. And I'm very proud to be a part of it because it's all about propagating the positive.
Right.
Really, really.
And you've got a great positive demeanor, man. You're I don't know, man. You just have that quality, I think, and that probably comes through in the music. And I think I imagine seeing you play. It's exactly what you want to get from music. It's you feel good, I mean, because I'm sure you're enjoying and you love what you do and you're passionate about it, and it's obvious just talking to you know what I mean. And I think that's the point, right? Putting that out there, man.
I appreciate that. I think, again, man, I think it's maybe been one of the things that's kept me from learning other things that I should be doing because I'm so obsessed with just being on the stage and playing my bass and acting a fool on the stage and running around and sweating, being like, Angus Young is I love Angus Young. I love, he plays guitar, but I like his energy on the stage, right? So I went on the stage, even when we do AC/DC songs, I have the bass and I'm doing Angus Young moves, but it's supposed to be the guitar player. I'm running around, like doing the Chuck Berry kicks and stuff. And seriously, man, I love it. I just all music, whether it's R&B, if it's grooving, rock, if it's grooving, I don't care, country western, if it's grooving country western, I'm having fun with it. I don't give a shit. I'm getting on stage, I'm having a good time. I don't care. And everybody else, if you were there, have a good time with us, you know?
Right. Vic, I don't feel like Teague is a guy that would be willing to participate or could even fathom or participate in the Bermuda Triangle. Vic and I started this thing. I'm gonna come back around to something you said, Teague. I hate to do it, but we're gonna talk a little shit. But It's out of love. 'Cause I agree with you, man. I think, especially when you look at like genres, my big thing, I say this all the time, is like, genre doesn't matter, man. If it's coming from the right place, you know what I mean? If you're playing music from the right place and you're creating from the right place and it's moving people and it's especially in a case of propagating the positive, and that can be in a lot of different ways. Like some people, a lot of people, I think, if I'm in the gym or if I'm feeling down and out and shitty, like sometimes I write angry, aggressive music and it makes me feel better, So whatever works, like it's this intangible thing working on an emotional level. And then that's what's great about music, and genre is insignificant, really. I think it's how it hits and affects people. You know what I mean?
I got to point this out real quick, man, because when I first heard you guys on the Yay Plus Radio, the first song I heard from oh man, A Good Rogering, the Snail. The Snail. I said, hold up, man. I was listening, who the fuck is this? They go, all right, who the hell is this, man? This dude, these cats are grooving. And that's when I started getting into the group. And then I heard Mr. Peanut. That's the same people.
Yeah.
They went from that to Mr. Peanut. Why did they do that, man? It's like, shit, these cats are cool.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah. Dude. Well, that's it right there. And I've been trying to, I don't want to get too much off on my shit, but like with A Good Rogering, it's been this weird thing because some people are like, I love the name and it's great. Don't change the name. And then part of me is like, from a marketing standpoint, I'm like, this is the worst name ever. What have I done? And we've been all over the place in terms of music, but I mean, that's a reflection of me and just, I love all kinds of music, but I understand from a marketing standpoint. And I think like what I am doing with the band lately and with the new music, it's kind of found itself still kind of eclectic, but in a more cohesive manner. But you're right, going from the Snail to Mr. Peanut to something classical.
That shit is cool.
But thanks, man, because that's I'm like you, dude. I love playing all kinds of music. I play bands, and it doesn't matter if I love authentic. I love old school country. I love obviously some great musicianship, whether it be like fucking Motown or funk. Jazz.
I mean, you really know. Yeah, you got it's in, you can tell, man. And then you got the song Face Value, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
It's some beautiful music, man. I mean, Vic, you were quiet there, man. You're just sitting there chilling and checking out everything.
Yeah,
I talk too much, man. That's
I mean, you gotta say something, dude. Get in there.
Well, I was gonna say something, but Skunk actually covered it.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm cool. I'm just sitting here.
Here's what I'm thinking, Teague. It's like you have, as far as I know, extended the invite. Dude, I want to go to Asia so damn bad. And when I say Asia, that's a broad term, but everything I've heard about Japan, Vietnam, what you're saying about Malaysia, Singapore, I want to go over there. There is nothing in this world at this point in time that I want to do more than go play music in other countries. I've been around the U.S. a little bit. I've done a little bit of touring. I've been to Canada. I love it. But I want to go to Europe. I want to go to Asia, and I've heard such good things. And I think Vic, with the podcast, in a perfect world, we would just cruise over.
Cruise to different places.
But Vic, see what you're sort of without knowing it, unfortunately. Vic is sort of positioning himself to be my bodyguard. So, like he's ex-military, like he's martial arts, like Vic,
Right?
I'm a musician. I can't fight.
Hey man, but seriously, well, you're a big, tall dude yourself, man, right?
Yeah, that's right. I'm a badass. That's right. Yeah.
And so Vic is the man. Okay, got it.
Oh no, I don't know about that.
That's why he doesn't have to say anything, man. He's just,
like that. Hey, matter of fact, speaking of that, man, I love when you're on the stage, the cats with the pig heads.
Oh yeah. We just decided to have some fun with it, man, because we ended up shooting. Oh, well, dude, Vic is actually. If you're okay with me saying this, Vic.
Yeah.
Vic is actually. So we had a video for Face Value, which was we went through a guy here who we've had on the podcast. I met a few years back, Eric Livingston, who does videographer, graphic design, stuff like that. And he's worked a lot with Ipecac Records and Mike Patton and Mr. Bungle and those kind of bands. And so he did a video for us called This Is Death Metal, which is like a parody video a few years ago. And he did all this. It's awesome, man. Fire, all the cliche shit in a cartoon form, and it's hilarious. And so then when he came back, and he's the one that did all these visuals for Face Value, and we kind of constructed this satirical storyline. And then there's an extension of that. The next video is like a part 2 it took forever. We had shot live stuff of the band sort of playing, and I was like, I want more. And finally, like the idea came, like we had like masks, and then I was like, oh man, I want to get some pig masks. And then like, but it was, I don't even remember the situation, but like somebody dropped out or something. And the day before the shoot, I was like another buddy of mine and Vic, I was like, hey, do you guys want to like come be in a good Rogering video? I guess. I was like, cool. Like, do you mind wearing a suit and wearing a pig mask?
It's cool. And I saw that.
Oh, dude, Vic is a star. Cool. Dude, I cannot wait for everyone to see the next video, Teague. It's just awesome. And I mean, it's cool, but it's also funny. Like I was at the guy that's doing the video, we were working on it the other night, and we just couldn't stop laughing at like some of the characters in the video. It's so amazing. I mean, it was a blast.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I can't wait to.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to the day to watch you cats live, and I would love to see you over here in Asia, man. Seriously, hey, matter of fact, you guys even are over here, and you're not gigging, and you're over here checking stuff out before you gig. Yeah. You're always welcome here in our place, man. We got a room for you. You guys are welcome here. I think you'll love it. We got facilities. It's kind of like a little resort here, man. We got tennis courts and basketball courts and swimming pools. You'll love it, man. You're invited. Look out the window. I'm gonna sit. Look at the view. That's part of Malaysia. Can you see it?
Oh wow!
We're up on the 30th floor.
That's amazing.
I can't show you the other side because over there is Singapore. I can actually show you Singapore if I walk out the door and show you. You can see it's right across the water. Would you like to see it?
Sure.
Let me show you. Let me just get up. Hold on.
See this iPad? This iPad podcast was meant for a reason, man.
Right, see? Let me go walk the other. As long as I don't lose the okay, I'm gonna walk through the house. I'm gonna take you to the hold on, so you can see the view. Now I'm not gonna open the window. I don't want to lose any in it. If you see that back there behind my head, that's Singapore.
Yeah.
Over across the water.
Oh wow, okay.
That's can you see the buildings down there?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what it looks like. It's kind of a gloomy day here. Let me open the window a bit. It's getting a little bit bright. Maybe it's too bright. Okay, is that get a good view?
Right. Yeah.
Right. So that's the harbor down there. I don't want to go outside because the net cuts off and we'll be disconnected, and that wouldn't be good for this. So, yeah.
Awesome, dude. Man, I tell you what, especially with the whole COVID thing happening and everybody being locked up and kind of like not able to travel, especially internationally in the last few years. It's like I've been over to England. I really haven't done that much international traveling, and I just got to Canada for the first time, I believe, a couple of years ago, right before COVID. So I'm just going like, man, there's nothing that I want to do more than to travel, dude. So, dude, I hope that happens, man. I hope it happens sooner than later. I'd love to come over there and play some music, check out some music, the whole nine. Yeah,
Dick, you come too.
All right. I'll do it.
You gotta take care of him. You gotta watch out.
I'll be the whiskey taster just to make sure it's okay.
Hey,
that's right.
We'll have plenty of that.
That's what a great guy Vic is. He's like, whoa, hey, don't do that shot. Let me test this out for you first.
Don't smoke that cigar. Let me test it out.
Buy another one.
Yeah.
Don't eat that food yet. Let me test it out. I'm kind of liking this job.
Man, so I wanted to ask you, Skunk Manhattan. Now, where did this name come from?
I wish I had a good story. I need to come up with one. It's really it started as a joke, man. Me and a buddy of mine when I said I went over to England, I have a great friend over there named Guy Laverick, who's a phenomenal musician, guitar player. Mm-hmm. And he's one of those like silly guys that's just like born talented. Like he was a painter and then he decided to start playing guitar and then became this virtuoso guitar player. And then when I visited him, there was all these like paintings. It's like, oh my God, who did these paintings? Oh, Guy did those when he was like 3, whatever. Like it's like one of those, you're like, oh, you're fucking good at everything. But super nice, humble guy, like, which is so cool because most of my friends that are phenomenal musicians are such nice people too, and there's no ego or any of that shit. Anyway, I went over there a few times several years back and we did some music together and hung out and stuff, and I've lost my train of thought now. But about England.
I do that too. I do that.
Dude, when you brought up ADD, I get it, man. I
do that.
So you were just talking about the Bermuda Triangle. No, I'm just kidding.
That was like a half an hour ago.
I know.
Something about traveling. Anyway, I want to travel. That's all I'm saying. But blah blah whatever. England.
Your name, England.
I don't think, dude. Back to the pure Bermuda Triangle. Like Teague is too nice, and he likes all this different music. Like we can't put. it's kind of bad, I think, too, to put professional musicians on the spot and be like, well, what don't you like? Because everyone wants to be like, nah, man, it's all good. But everyone's got to have some bands that just rub them wrong. Like, it's just like, ugh, I just don't like that Good Rogering band. Ugh, like.
Oh, man, I don't see how they can not like that Good Rogering, man. This you guys.
Believe it or not, people don't like. I was told the other day at a show that someone didn't like me, and I was hurt. Like, what?
Well, that goes to show you can't please everybody. That's what I'm saying. I always tell my friends, you know what? Out of 100 people, if you can make 10 of them happy, just imagine you make 1,000. That's 100, and then 1,000,000. So just look at it like that. Get the
right way of looking at it.
Yeah, because no matter what, even Vic, who's like I've known Vic for we've known each other for at least probably 15 years.
Oh yeah,
and nicest guy. There's nothing I could say bad about Vic. But somebody out there looks at Vic and goes, I don't like that guy's face.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is.
Yeah. It happens.
Oh, see?
More of them that look at my face and don't like it. But somewhere there's some jerk that doesn't like you, Vic, for no reason. I don't know.
Yeah. That's true.
What bands do you hate?
All have it. Yeah. All three of us have that problem, I'm sure. There's ones out there that plenty of people look at me and say, I don't like that guy.
Someone's just like out there going like, I'm just tired of this guy up there having fun playing his bass, propagating the positive. How dare he? Who does he think he is having fun with life and music?
I love playing my bass, man. I do.
What
I'm going to throw it in the air. Huh?
What are some of your biggest influences, man?
Oh, man, there's so many songs. Seriously, I can go forever, but we'll start way back to when I was coming up, and I'll go back to Larry Graham, Bootsy Collins, Geddy Lee. Mm-hmm. Back in the way back young days, and then coming up Cameo, the bassist from Cameo. That's where I wanted to be a showman. When I saw the bass player Aaron Mills in Cameo running across the stage, and then he do his own thing, and then it get to a certain section of the song where the horn players would go into a choreography, and he would jump right into the choreography right with them, right on cue, and keep playing the bass, bum, bum, bum. And then when they stop, he'd run off and start doing his little own thing again. And then the choreography come back. He was always right there. And I saw that guy and I said, I want to be like Aaron Mills when I get on stage. I want to be a performer, not just a bass player that stands there. I want to perform and play. And people go, how is he moving and playing the bass and hitting the notes at the same time? I'm throwing the bass in the air and spinning around. A little bit of Prince stuff in there too. And I'm just learning. But Flea and all these guys, hey, the stage there's no limit. There's no law says you can't get on stage and have fun and do what you do.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So I had people come to me, like I said, haters. Hey, Teague, when you're on stage, why are you up there moving around so much? Y'all showing up everybody else. I had guys coming to me saying that. You're just showing off. And I'm just looking, I'm thinking, because you don't want to get your ass up there and move around a bit and sweat. Because I got to sweat after the set. I got to take off the shirt and put on another shirt because it's soaking wet. And you got people say, why are you sweating? Dumbass, do you see what I'm doing up there?
It's hard work, dude. Under the lights, that's what, dude. When you get up under the light, that's one thing I noticed too. After starting to get back to rehearsing and playing, and I've only played a handful of shows. I haven't done a lot, but man, my voice was so out of shape like 2 months ago. I mean, I was struggling so bad. We did a warm up. I had to do we did a one-off show, and the only time we had to rehearse and do the show the same day. I was trying to hold back in rehearsal. By the end of rehearsal, I was like, "Oh man, I'm in trouble." And then I was struggling through the gig, and you just forget like the energy it takes, and you got to keep these things, especially I think. But you got to keep your chops up, and it's so much different sitting in your chair playing along to a tune, learning a tune, on stage, and people wonder why you're drenched in sweat and exhausted. Right, it is taxing. And
you're serious, man.
I feel you, dude, because I'm the same way. And it's really funny because just like this interview, like, oh, there are questions. Is it playing? We're going to fly by the seat of our pants. I think this comes down. I think you and I probably share this sort of very like in the moment ADD sort of thing, because when I'm performing, and I think it's the same way. Maybe like you said, some people have been like, why do you got to show up? Like for me, it's the same way. Now I do know my role in a band, and if I'm the back guy, and I'm not going to try to upstage a front man,
right?
Depending on the context of the gig. But when I'm doing my thing and it's my project or a band that I'm, it's a whole unit, right? Like, I don't know what it is about playing live. It's not something I plan. It's not something I choreograph. It's just like when I get in that moment, even when I know when I play, like even when I'm sitting here practicing, man, I'm making all those dumb rock faces and that to me, it's like in that moment, I'm feeling that shit, man.
Yes.
I don't think I think that's just the way it is, and like maybe some of us are just wired that way. And I also think maybe that goes back to that fearlessness of improvising and wanting to play music and being curious about music. Because, and I think another thing I think is true for a lot of musicians, and I have a very big stand-up comedy fan in that too. And I think a lot of those kind of people, musicians, comics, like these guys that are in the limelight and up there, you know, putting themselves all out there, are actually, especially maybe in their younger years, kind of introverted and insecure and shy. I mean, I was definitely like that. And there's something about being on stage where it just all that shit goes away. And then you're just up there living in the moment, man. And I think that, I know that's true. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you all the way. Like you said it perfectly. And like you said, man, especially my bass is going through a good rig, because some of the gigs, they don't have a good, they got a good rig there, got a good tone coming out. I hear the guitar player. He's got this nice tone. He's happy. And then we got a nice stage mix going. The drummer's kick has gotten nice and solid. He's in it. And then you get those moments where you hit notes and you gel together on the band and you get goosebumps on your arm because the music feels so damn good. Everybody's linked together. Everybody's feeling each other. No one's overplaying. They're just playing nicely. No one's stepping on each other's toes. Like you said, the situation when I get crazy on stage, I don't do it with any band I play. I sit in with a group. I sit in with a band and say, we need you to fill in for a night or so forth. I don't go in and just go and jump around the stage. I sit back in the background and do my thing, right? I don't get in on the gig and, you know, just be jumping crazy. It's like you said, when the moment calls for it. When I'm with Dirty Perfect, we're a 3-piece band. So we're 3-piece. There's 3 of us. I'm getting mine.
Yeah.
It's our band. I'm getting up there, and Teague is going to be Teague. And you guys can shut the F up because I'm getting mine, right? Because this is what I do. Yeah. And so either you like it or walk out the door and go to another venue. But I'm getting mine, right? So you're right. You feel it, man. You feel it. It's just I can't describe it. You can't describe it. I know you guys know what I'm saying, and other musicians know what we're talking about. It's a feeling that comes over you, and you, like you said, you make those faces. You move a certain way. It is not planned. It's all just comes out. I practice certain things in front of a mirror because I don't want to get on stage and look stupid when I try to do it. You know, I'm not going to spin around, I don't know, and then that's why I use a wireless and then get wrapped up in my own cord and then fall over and hit my head on the cymbal stand and look stupid. You know what I mean? You practice some things. You got to rehearse that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, you do. I've fallen off the stages before. I have.
No, I've got my share of stories with embarrassing stage moments that I won't share. Yeah. Again, though, it's learning. It's that is learning to perform just like it's a skill, like anything else, man. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think there's that whole thing. It's like, not to say that I don't like. I mean, some bands, I don't know how some bands even do it when their music is so damn complex. But you got progressive rock bands. I mean, you know. Sometimes it's so busy and crazy you can't. You know, a band that blows me away that I absolutely loved. You know, the Aristocrats.
I've heard of them.
Oh, those guys play the most complex shit you've ever seen in your life, and they're up there just smiling and having a good time.
Yeah, like Dream Theater, like Dream Theater, but instrumental and but they look like they're having even more fun. Like it's It's just I absolutely highly recommend checking out the Aristocrats. I will.
And everyone, a drummer, a bassist, and a guitarist, and they're all 3 just like, I mean, they live
like Primus.
They live up the name in a big time. Oh, I love Primus, man. Yeah, Les Claypool's so well. Speaking of just an entertainer and a unique voice in every sense of the word. But what I love about Primus and Les Claypool in particular too is coming out on top of all the crazy Primus stuff, doing like complete Pink Floyd albums, Rush albums. I mean, dude, like. That is some high-class musicianship right there, man.
Winona's Big Brown Beaver.
Oh, man, I remember that. That was a great video.
I know.
Wax figures.
Yeah. I love that song. So great.
And you forget we did the freaking South Park theme song, for crying out loud, man.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Shit.
Dude, I've never seen Primus live. I really need to see. Have you seen them live? I need to see them live.
No, man. I have. I would like to. Love to do this. Yeah. If I get a chance to, I will. Les Claypool.
All right. So
I
must tell you, Teague, and I hope this doesn't mar our friendship.
Okay, what's going on?
I'm feeling really good. I don't want this to jeopardize me coming over to Malaysia and hanging out with you.
Okay, what's happening? Okay, what's happening now? What's happening?
You mentioned a band that I mean, maybe it shouldn't surprise me because you're into all kinds of stuff and you're going to give everybody a fair shot. And I'm sure the musicians, even if it's like some cheeseball bro country band, of course the musicians are going to be great, right? But when you mentioned Limp Bizkit, I was like, Limp Bizkit. I always thought I'm just not a personal Limp Bizkit fan.
Okay. That's good. It's okay.
But you're their bass player. What is it you like about the bass? Because honestly, I don't know their music well enough to really. So what is it? Is it a showmanship thing that you like?
No, he's got his thing that he does, but it's some certain riffs that he does on certain tunes to keep the music full while Wes Borland is going off doing his thing, man. Because I really love Wes Borland. I know you don't have to like, because other people don't like Limp Bizkit. I like some of the groove because it's hard and bashing, and there's some of the cuts that I really like, man. But
so what would be if there was a guy like me who was like, fuck Limp Bizkit, what would you be like? No, check this tune out. What would be a tune that you would say, go check out?
Oh man, I don't know, man. Break stuff. There's a one that's
this is so contrary to your demeanor though. I can't see Teague Bass fucking break stuff, man.
Yeah, because it's the groove. It's just how they're going crazy, man. And
you could never be in that band, dude. You'd be up there smiling. They'd be like, "No, dude, you got to be mad. You got to be mad."
If I could be in a band, if I could be, I would be an Audio Slave or Rage Against the Machine.
I fucking love Audio Slave, dude.
The same. I play, man. Shit.
Chris Cornell.
Damn.
Oh yeah.
Show me how to live. I'll sit here and play that stuff here.
Dude, I mean, Chris Cornell was one of it's like John Lennon. I mean, even John Lennon had some questionable tunes, I guess. But one of those guys that just doesn't write a bad song. I mean, period. Like Chris Cornell was just beyond phenomenal, man.
Yeah,
and and I agree. Absolutely love Audio Slave, particularly that first album. And I hate to say it, but it's probably true. I overproduce. I want to add, I want to add more. I want to keep adding. I want to keep doing. What's so great about that album is it's so and I think it's probably partly Rick Rubin's credit, but it's so simple and streamlined and you've got your drums, your bass, your guitar, it's very simple, right? And space.
They groove, man. Yeah. Tim Comerford on bass. I love this groove lines that he plays. Man, what can you say about Moreau? And then the drummer, it's so it's they gel and they cover. The bottom is covered. Everything's covered and they groove, man.
Yeah, I love that Revelations album. That first song on Revelations. Such a cool tune.
Yeah, see
that whole
cool
album,
band, man.
Yeah,
and yeah. So and it's the same cats, Rage Against the Machine, and it's like, man, two kicking ass bands, the same people, only minus the frontliner,
Honestly, with Rage, I don't really know their catalog past the first couple albums. Now, their first album is incredible. I mean, it's an absolutely awesome album. And
it's the same people.
Yeah, I mean, dude, like you said, they're just freaking right. Fantastic grooves. It's not overcomplicated. It's nothing fancy. Yeah. It really definitely had a style that he brought to the table and did some unique, things as a guitarist for sure. But
I know, man. And just something like even killing the name of the groove is just.
Yeah, if you don't do this, there's something wrong with you, dude. Yeah.
Some of those that like are the same that Vern Cross says, and it's just cool, man. It's just cool.
We could talk about those songs all day, but one of my favorite riffs on that album, or probably one of my favorite riffs all time, is "Know Your Enemy." Let's sing all the Vic. Your turn. Let's all sing Rage riffs.
Okay.
Sing Rage riffs.
Well, man, I just realized we actually covered Bomb Track. Like I think it was probably before I met you, even Vic. Like one of my
Bomb Track.
Man, when I moved to Bomb
Track. Trying to think of what song I really liked on that first album.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
It's good, man.
Okay. Yeah. That's cool. But you know what? I tell you what, a good one to do. I'd like you to hear you do. Could you do it like right now, please? That part in the snail. Can you do that part?
Oh man, you want the rap that I want it.
My favorite part, man.
Oh, man.
The rap part is cool too, because you're telling a story. And I love the way you're telling the story. And it's just coming out so nice and clear. The words, man, is cool. Anybody, man, I can tell everybody out there, check out the snail. I'm telling you, you're going to like it. If you don't, okay, but I think you're going to really like it.
Well, let's talk about what Yay Plus. Back to Yay Plus. Let's talk about what Yay Plus has going on with radio, man. Because you're always plugging radio.
Yeah, Yay Plus Radio.
So tell people where can people hear these bands?
Yay Plus Radio on KWSS 93.9 FM. Come and check it out. Yay, giving the indie artists a platform where they can be heard. So check us out every Wednesday. That's if you're in the States, and if you're in Singapore. That's 10 a.m. SGT Singapore time on Thursdays. But if you're in Cali, that would be 9 p.m. 9 p.m. Yes.
On
Wednesday.
Get this podcast right. But
on Wednesdays. It's in Wednesdays in the States, but over here we actually get it in the morning. So I'm up at 10 a.m. to watch it over here, to listen to the radio program.
On Thursday, right?
Yeah, I'm actually Thursday morning here, Singapore time, so in Malaysia time. So, and they're hearing it back in Cali at 9 at night, and then I think you're in Texas, you're getting it around 7 p.m., something like that. It's the time zones change, right? But yeah, we play only the indie artists. We don't play any mainstream artists. It's a program for indie artists, and every week or so what we've been doing, Yay Plus has been doing for the past couple of months is 3 months or so, getting artists on, featured artists to come on and talk. You had you on there. That was
fun, dude. I had a blast.
That was cool, man.
Yeah.
It was cool. And the artist comes on, talks about the story, and it's cool, man. Really. And I love, I haven't missed one program since it started back last December of last year. I haven't missed one program.
Dude, you're the man, Teague. That's awesome, man. I mean, you've had this amazing career, and it's just like, when you mentioned Flea, seeing Flea at ACL, Austin City Limits Festival here a few years ago, just playing for this massive crowd headlining, and they've been around forever, and obviously a band that everybody knows and has all this clout. But Flea is one of those guys that you just know it's in his soul, and he plays music for the right reasons. I even read once about Flea, like he got anxiety if he had too long of a flight because he couldn't play. It was just, And he's one of those guys that he is a musician in his heart, and he was up there talking to the crowd, and you could just, it was his 50th birthday, in fact, I think. And he was tearing up, man. He just loved it so much and for the right reasons. And you strike me that exact same way, man, and as a performer, as a musician, your energy, your positivity, your passion, your love for it. And then on top of that, now what you're doing with Yay Plus and John and Justin and these guys, it's like, you guys are out there, you put something together, you're plugging independent artists, like guys like myself, you're putting music out there for us, and it's great, man. I'm so glad that initially I think Justin Bridges contacted me about that and was kind of bringing it up. I think when you were talking about like the very early origins of it, and it hasn't been that long, it's only been a few years. And shit, man, now that I think about it, dude, Justin was one of our first guests on this podcast.
Okay.
We were talking about stuff, and shortly after that is like that's kind of where we started talking about Yay Plus, I think, in its early origins.
Hey, speaking of Justin too, that's a cool dude, man. It's
a character, man. Yeah. I met him. I mean, it's just funny. Like that's one beautiful thing about music. We meet all these people in these different ways. But we played a show with him in San Marcos, right down the road from him. Man, probably 2000, right when A Good Rogering started, probably 2009 or something, and just became friends. And then I know he's up in Portland. Obviously, he has a story and a background with the activism and the things he went through and all that stuff. And then now, and I never could keep up with him. Where are you at now? And he'd be back in Texas. He'd be in Houston. Then he's up in Syracuse, right? When I was talking to John, for some crazy reason, I was thinking John was in Canada, and it was like, nice. I guess he's in Syracuse, huh?
Yeah, he's on the road all the time, man. I mean, even some of our meetings, the Yay Plus meetings we have, on the Zooms, he's on the road in the car, and he's in the meeting on the road driving, and he's, it's crazy. That's like, I admired about the guys. Like, man, we were being locked down while, stations was open because we were locked down, and I was like, man, you guys over there gigging and stuff, and we're over here locked down. We couldn't even go 5 kilometers, which is 3 miles, from home. Without the police blocks, roadblocks, you couldn't be in the car with your wife or anybody. You could only be in the car alone to go and get supplies like food and stuff. And if you were past 3 kilometers, 3 miles, You better have an excuse if you're going to the doctor or something like that. You better have a written excuse or some digital whatever in your phone, notice to show the roadblock that's why you're that far from home. That's how bad it was over here, man.
What is
really?
What have people been like over there? Has there been a lot of pushback and agitation in that regard to that sort of strictness, or are people willing to go along with it? I mean, obviously over here in the States, there's been a lot of controversy and conflict, division with that kind of stuff.
Not to take the subject off of Justin just now where we were, I had just brought that up. I
would definitely want to get back to that, but I am curious about what's the...
We went through that for a whole year almost. I mean, we came out of lockdowns a couple of times. It got where the cases were going down and they tried to open up again and they tried to have music for a little bit. And then like 3 weeks later, cases blew up. That was like this time last year. And then we went on lockdown again. So we are locked down most of this whole year. I would say out of 2020, we were on restrictions for 8 months out of the year. And when we just came out of it, basically here at the beginning of October. So we've had our freedom we just gone into phase 4, which is now phase 4 is we can go to other parts of Malaysia, other states within Malaysia. I can go to Kuala Lumpur, Malacca, or these other places. You can get on a plane and do domestic flights within the country. Man, we couldn't do any of that stuff. You believe that, man, being confined to your house and you go outside and the people looking at you, you can't even go. You can only go to the store to get food.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. But the people here handled it very well. There was, I would say we're very fortunate because we stayed, in a condo complex but they closed the swimming pools down. The gyms weren't open here. So what I did, we had a 4 multi-story parking lot, right? Mm-hmm. So they don't allow you to ride. You couldn't ride a bicycle. You couldn't cycle on the street. You couldn't jog. So what I did is I would go out down to the car park and run around the car park space from the basement to level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up, and then go back down. Yeah, one whole round up and down. That's like about a half mile. That's how big the parking structure is. Yeah. And I would just do that, and I would go down there like at 12 at night, midnight, or 1 in the morning at 2.
Right.
So no one, would see me.
Yeah.
Yeah. We made a makeshift tennis court inside the parking structure.
Wow.
Yeah. Because the ceiling was high enough when you get to the top floor. Just before the top floor, the ceiling gets very high and high enough where you can actually, about 9 feet up, you can actually play tennis. So we made a makeshift with tape, regulation size, and then we taped it off, made a makeshift net out of a badminton net, put 2 together, made stands and that's the extremes we went to do sports.
Wow.
It was that bad.
Yeah. Wow, man. Yeah, I think as crazy as things have been here, and it's been crazy, but I mean, it's been like that all over the world. And I think certainly in many, many places, it's been a much stricter. And I mean, we're in Texas, man. So, I mean, Texas is one of the more lenient states, clearly.
Of course, right. Right.
And it's interesting, man. I got to say, I mean, as this whole thing has transpired, it's like, I think it's valid to listen to people and hear different opinions. People can be level-headed and talk intelligently and be respectful. And that's I think what often gets in the way of that conversation, right? Is that people are so ready to go at odds, and I've been guilty of it, like so many people. But it's crazy. And it'll sure be nice when we can all, as a collective global society, hopefully get back to some sense of normality. We'll see. I mean, now I'm hearing about a new variant. So Christ, who knows? I don't know what's going on.
Well, the one in Africa now, there's another one coming out that's out, they say. Now in Africa.
I mean, that's got to be, on your end, are you sitting here going, shit, man, we're just now about to be able to travel, and now is everything going to shut down again,
Well, they've already, Malaysia's very fast. When that news came out, they've already now, from that part of the world, they're not accepting flights. They've already shut down flights from coming in from there, which that's a good 10-hour flight from here, 12 hours. So, but they don't feel any urgency right now at the moment. But we're thinking, we don't need anything messing it up here because the music scene, live music is just coming back starting in December. So we don't want to shut down. I mean, Dubai opened up at one time. they opened up and they shut down within 3 weeks of the opening. You know, the musicians are all excited, and then 3 weeks later, they shut down again. So how do you think that's a mental?
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude, that happened here last year. And it hadn't been too far along, you know, what was it? Probably, I think, it should hit the fan in March, and then by like June, they were opening up venues here and limited capacity, this and that, and then everything shut down again for the most part. And I think everyone was like, hey, it's going to take long. But now here, I wouldn't say it's normal, and the Delta variant happened and kind of definitely put a damper on many things in the summer. It was kind of a funky time, but what would you say, Vic? We've slowly kind of been moving forward over the course of the past year. How would you define it? At least,
I mean,
because it is different in other places, you know.
Yeah, I mean, Texas, I kind of just, I haven't really seen anything too strict.
Right.
The businesses are doing, what they want, if they want people to wear masks or whatever. So, so they'll do that, but I haven't really seen anything come out.
It's kind of interesting. And lately when I've been out, you'll see some people wearing masks, some people not wearing masks. And, it's, I like I definitely think like no one should be harassed for wearing a mask, for God's sake, if they want to wear a mask.
Well, I was going to ask you, do you guys have this little app in your phone that you have to press, and then it's your ID is inside it? It's this little thing in here, and you push that wherever you go. We can't, any grocery store, any place.
No, but
we can't get in.
Here's what's interesting. Last night, when I went to a show last night with my fiance who lives in San Francisco, and she's been over here for a little while now, and then we're about to go over there, and so we kind of go, and it's very different in California, obviously, right? And we were going, and she was like, oh my gosh, do I have my thing and vaccine card? And we've gotten so used to being over here, just like, oh, what? Oh, I need to take my vaccine card. Oh, what? Huh? And like I said, there's still a lot of people like wearing masks, less at concerts, but there's still people wearing masks last night. Of course, employees at most places are.
Yeah.
It depends on what the business is how many.
That's it.
But she was like, you have to have that, I'm pretty sure, out in California. Like in here, it's like, no, you don't. There, as far as I know, there's no places here that they're.
That's
obviously not mandated.
That's the vaccine card. You push that, and you show them in, the thing pops up, and I'll show it right here. And then I make it real quick. You know what people are doing? They see that. Now what they're doing is they're taking it and they're copying your IDs. And then they go in, they're doing this. So you got to watch. It's crazy, man. It's ridiculous. It's crazy.
Sucks, man.
I don't want the government tracking me.
Dude, here's my thought on that, and I've said this before. And that's why I take beef sometimes with people that are that think the vaccine is some kind of like government conspiracy, blah, blah, blah. I understand if you don't want a vaccine, and I understand there's reasons why people don't, but in terms of like the whole big, gigantic global conspiracy theory, first order, whatever the hell you call it, dude, you're already being tracked. And I'm going to go like really South Park on it and just I'm going to be really obscene about it. But I mean, everyone who's so worried about getting an injection and that they're going to be tracked with some Bill Gates super secret whatever DNA code.
Yeah, dude, they got off of Epstein.
We're already carrying this shit around. In a couple of years, like these exact same people that are screaming and shouting are going to be like, oh, please give me the new iPhone plant in my butthole. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, enough. Like, this shit's just going to be right under our skin anyway. So I just think that's a bogus argument. All right, I'll get off my soapbox.
Well, hey, man. Yeah, I got to say, you make a great point. And that's a great point because I didn't want to do it. And then because I didn't want anything being injected in me. I was like, man, let my body's natural immune system fight it off and get that shit. But the thing is, I had no choice. And I told all my friends, they're going to checkmate us. And they checkmated me. Like my perfect example was I said, look, it's going to get to a point, you're going to come to your door with soldiers and knock it down and make you take the shot. No, you know what they're going to do? They're going to fix it so that you're going to be in a checkmate. And the checkmate is, I'm not allowed to do any gigs. I can't go perform if I don't vaccinate. I can't go. I can't do anything.
I do understand the pushback to that. I do understand the concern of a citizen because that sucks.
I can't do anything. You're not vaccinated. You're ostracized. And what are you gonna do? Go live in the jungle? Because you're not gonna. Society's not gonna let you live amongst them if you don't. So there's a lot of people now. I see people getting turned away because they can't get in. Like some of the guys can't come to the tennis court. You gonna play tennis now? I can't play. Why? I didn't vaccinate. They don't allow them to use a tennis court. They can't use the facilities here. Residents can't use it because if they don't vaccinate, vaccinate, they can't use the facilities.
No.
What can we say?
Yeah, well, I'll let Vic chime in on this if he wants. I'm done because it's a nasty conversation to have, and
it is.
I
will just say it's pretty hypocritical to see all the politicians passing these laws and they're not even following the same rules or handing down to the rest of the people.
Par for the course, right?
Yeah, par for the course.
Right.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, it is crazy that they don't let you in terms of like gyms and working out, that they're that strict on it, because that staying healthy, being active is what is probably the best defense for everything, right? So
and I agree, Vic. I think those are all good counter arguments when people talk about that in the natural immunity and being outdoors,
getting some sun,
being active, working out. I mean, when you're not able to do those things, I mean, so it's kind of a catch-22 in a sense.
Yeah, they were incentivizing people over here with like Krispy Kreme donuts and all sorts of stuff to get the vaccine, and I'm like, that.
Really?
Why are you making people fatter? Why are you throwing all this sugar in them? Right?
It's that kind of shit that would make me believe the conspiracy theories. For fuck's sake, man!
Well,
it's Krispy Kreme.
They did, yeah. They had it going. Like, get a free Krispy Kreme donut when you get the stick.
I don't know what it is with these Krispy Kreme donuts, and I do realize that Thailand is not the same as Malaysia and Taiwan. It's somewhere over there, and from how I've already proved it, by complete lack of time zones and geography knowledge, I'll just assume it's like right next door, right? Where is Thailand?
It's right north of us, man. I can drive to Thailand in 10 hours. We can be at southern Thailand, but to get to Bangkok is another about 30 because it's way up in there. I got friends up there. And then time zone is 1 hour off from us. So they're an hour behind right now from where I am. But yes, just north of here.
The reason I bring up Thailand is one of my best friends I met years ago in San Antonio. I mean, we've known each other for over 20 years now, and she lives in LA. She's been out there for years. She's from Thailand originally. Her family's over there, and it's hilarious. She's told me that when she flies over there, her family's always like, "Oh, bring us this and bring us that." And Krispy Kreme donuts are like one of the things that they're like. We don't care if it sits on a plane for 20 hours. We want those crispy. What the hell is so special about Krispy Kreme donuts?
I know. I don't know. I got friends in Singapore that crazy about Krispy Kreme donuts, and they talked about that same thing the way you just explained it. I mean, to me, are they any better than Dunkin' Donuts?
I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say a donut's a donut, but I don't feel like donuts are like sushi, right? Like there's okay sushi, and I'll eat okay sushi, but like when you have really good sushi, you're like, damn, this is good stuff, right? I don't know if I've ever been like an okay donut. Is there really that jump? Apparently there is. That's what Krispy Kreme is like the Japan sushi of donuts. Apparently, I don't know.
I would disagree.
Okay.
Round Rock donuts.
Well, I guess I'm like that when it comes to salmon. I love salmon made a certain way. If it's grilled, someone knows how to really make salmon. There's different ways to make salmon. So I guess, I can understand that. Yeah, it makes sense. But yeah, donuts.
Favorite foods, man. Do you dine? I guess they're pretty Americanized over there, right? You got McDonald's, I'm sure, and all that bullshit.
All this stuff, everything.
Do you eat a lot of the local cuisine, or you what?
I do.
Food you?
I do because the Asians over here eat a lot of healthy foods. They eat a lot of healthy stuff. Like I don't use like after I moved over here, I learned now not to use certain oils, virgin oils and things, and I feel so much better. Just eat a lot of vegetables. The way they cook, I always wondered when I was in the States. We had these Asian friends come over, and they looked so young, right? When we're in the States, they said, "How old are you?" These guys would be like 30 years old, but they look like they're 20, 19. And I get over here, a lot of Asians over here they look way younger than they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look, they're older, but they look way younger than the food they eat, man. But they have all the fast foods over here. There's McDonald's, Burger King, this, you name it, man, KFC, all that stuff is over here. They have it, Popeyes and
Teague, I grew up eating that stuff. I'm 23 years old, and I look like I'm in my 40s.
Love it, man.
God damn, dude. Yeah, I love. What's something specific about over there? Because I mean, obviously, Thai food is different from Chinese food, and Japanese. Like, what is some really dishes in your area?
Like they mix it up. Like you have like there's Thai people that live here, the Chinese people that have Thai families. They'll cook their Chinese food, mix it with Thai style. Then you got authentic Thais, right? The Malaysians, they have their authentic foods. I'll name a couple. Because I like a lot. That's kind of Indonesian. Like there's ayam penyet. There's it's not coming out. Why is it? I'm stuck right now. It is. There it goes. There's asap laksa. They have laksas. There's mie rebus and stuff like that. Yeah, I like eat all this. There's a lot of Malaysian food that I like, and there's Chinese food that I like. The sweet and sour fish and stuff like that they have, and then there's the Indian food that's here. I love the Indian food. They have like what is it? The tandoori chicken and it's Rogan Josh and stuff like that, and the naan bread, butter naan or onion naan and all this. So their cultures, definitely is a difference from one to the other. So I have my favorite Chinese food, my favorite Malay food, my favorite Indian foods that I go to. And seriously, I do. And I've learned to make some of the dishes, and I try to really eat healthy. So yeah.
Awesome, man.
But I still eat the Western food every now and then. I go to McDonald's and here and there. And, when I have a taste for certain kind of filet of fish that I want.
A taste for that stomach, diarrhea, and old sweats. Like, oh man, I want to feel like an American again.
White Castle.
Oh God, yeah.
White Castle.
Oh man.
I will say I don't eat too much fast food. I have a couple places to eat. I have this pride that I haven't eaten McDonald's or purchased McDonald's. I've had a fluke eating, but in like 20 years. And Burger King I won't do.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Taco Bell though, shit.
Yeah. Arby's,
man. That horsey sauce, I just drown. I'm one of those spice guys, dude. I cannot get enough spice. I will just drown a sandwich in horsey sauce. Like, I put spice on everything. Food over there is spicy, right? I imagine probably you got a lot of spice going on, right? With the Indian food. My Thai friend, that's usually pretty spicy.
Hot, man. Some of it I can't even take it. I can't handle it. It's like you try to take a drink of beer or water and you're just spreading it around and your mouth is getting more hot. They have some spicy stuff over here, man. Really. And the more, when it's time for it to come out, you're grabbing stuff. It's sweating. Serious. Like, God help me.
You know who could take that spicy food?
Who is that?
Vic.
And
he's Hispanic, so I feel like it's like now. Are you a spicy guy, Vic? Have we talked about this?
Am I a spicy guy? I can tolerate some spice. Nothing nothing stupid like Carolina Reapers or anything like that. That's just insane.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But Thai food. I'll throw a little spice on Thai food. Where you start sweating.
Yeah.
Damn,
right.
This was so fun to talk to you, man. I'm really glad we could do this chat and get to know each other. I really wanted you got to talk to John, man. You guys are hard to get a hold of, and I was like, dude, we got to get the podcast. We got to throw a shout out to our friends in Canada, Top Shelf Music, who are now putting our podcast out, and they've been awesome partners with us. But I'd love to do the same with Yay Plus, man. It'd be really cool if we could get on the platform. And do you guys have any kind of podcast up on Yay Plus?
We need to do that. John, matter of fact, he's mentioning that. All I do is have I do my little TikTok things, which is little thing for fun. But we need to have something like this, man. Cool. Awesome. You seriously, man, really? Huh? You and Big?
I would love it, man.
That would work.
And then do the pig head thing.
Yeah. We should have. If I had known in advance, I would have worn a pig head for this podcast.
Shit is cool.
I mean, you know what? Hang tight. Hang tight.
All right.
Oh, he's gonna go.
He's gonna do
find one.
I love this shit.
When we filmed that, it was hot. It was so hot.
Yeah,
we were sweating. Oh.
Yeah, I saw that out there. This is some cool shit, man. Look at that. Really. I still have that picture in my phone. Matter of fact, the last one I saw. I like to keep things. Collect things that I like, and certain photos and things like that. It's like, hey, okay, here we go.
Yep.
Nah. Can you talk through there?
Can you hear me?
Barely.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, it's low. Yeah.
Well, okay. So since I can't be heard well, Vic, you have to sign out.
No, you're coming in. You're coming in.
You gonna sign out? Okay.
Dude, here's the thing, Teague. Like this always happens because we have such a blast on this podcast. We could just keep talking all night long, but at a certain point, it's like, what are we going to talk about? You know, I mean, we could keep talking, but would people listen? How long are your friends going to listen to you for?
Yeah, that's right. Like when we talked about the bucket list, if I was from another world, Earth would be on the bucket list to come to. Like when you go to a safari, you gotta, like here on Earth, we travel from country to country, right? Or if you go to safari, you got to stay in the car. The animals, the tigers are running around, but you don't get out of the car. So when the extraterrestrials come to this solar system, they come to Earth, but they're advised don't go below 20,000 feet. That Earthlings try to kill you. Don't get out of the spaceship. Don't land.
And just going like, man, these guys are ridiculous. Or like, there's that whole or maybe we're a whole reality show just for some other species, right? We're just an experiment.
That's what John Cann said. Don't go below 20,000 feet. Don't land. They will try to kill you.
Yeah. We don't want any part of these guys. We don't want to, whatever stupidity bug they have, we don't want to pick up.
Like this guy.
I mean, like if aliens were watching this, they'd be like, let's just get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
This is what.
That's right.
Snoop the place from orbit.
This guy put on a pig mask.
I love it. Do the snail. Do the snail with the pig head on.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Just when I think I can't get any more ridiculous. Teague, you're the man. Love you, dude.
Hey, man. You guys are the men.
I certainly hope to meet up with all you guys someday, man. The whole Yay Plus crew. Meet everybody in person. Hope to come over there and just explore the culture, the music, hang out. It sounds so freaking cool, man. And I think that's absolutely amazing how things have worked out for you, man, and your story, just touring when you were younger, getting over there, moving over there, and the continued work and success with music and in that part of the world. That's really cool, man.
Yeah. It's been a blessing. So I take it as what it is, and I don't take it for granted. I do.
Right on, man. And tell everybody before we go, where can people find you online?
Well, Yay Plus.
And your Teague Talks. Hey. What's the best way to find you on that?
Got it right. You can find us on www.yayplus.net, on Facebook, Yay Plus Official, right? Or Instagram, Yay Plus Official. The Yay Plus app, get it at any Google store or in the Apple store. Check out Yay Plus. And Teague Bass is on Yay Plus. Teague Talks and all the other Yay Plus artists, you can find them. Go to the www.yayplus.net. You can see all the Yay Plus artists in there. You can even catch some Skunk Manhattan stuff, good Rogering in there. A lot of other great artists in there. Check it out.
Beautiful. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Teague Bass. Man, it was an absolute pleasure talking to you. And Vic,
great talking to you, man. You and Vic.
Yeah.
Quiet Vic.
And
a few words, and he doesn't need them. All right, so the pig will sign us out. Once again, thanks for listening, everybody. We've been here with Teague Bass. This is Skunk Manhattan, Victor Ramos. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Bye.
Hey, folks, that concludes another episode of the podcast. Guest links will be available in the show notes. We'd like to thank our friends at Top Shelf Music for showcasing the podcast on their site. Be sure and check them out at topshelfmusicmag.com for the latest music news, reviews, and events. We'd also like to thank the folks over at Tragan Guitars, Godin Guitars, Ernie Ball Strings, and 5 Iron Woodworks. Have a great week and catch you on the next one.